15 Most Beautiful Black Actress of the 1980s, then and now, 2020s. They were the unforgettable faces of the 1980s, women whose beauty, confidence and talent could command a screen in seconds. But wait until you see them more than 4 decades later. From Phylicia Rashad and Jasmine Guy to Angela Bassett, Pam Grier and Debbie Allen. These legendary black actresses have traveled extraordinary journeys through fame, reinvention, triumph, and the passage of time. Some transformations may leave you stunned, while others seem to have barely changed at all. So who has aged most gracefully and which star looks completely different today? Stay until the end to see them all. Before we begin, subscribe to Golden Black Legends, hit the like button and tell us in the comments which 1980s beauty you remember most. Phylicia Rashad. Phylicia Rashad didn't simply become one of the most beautiful black actresses of the 1980s. She helped redefine what elegance, intelligence, and black womanhood could look like on American television. Born in Houston, Texas in 1948, Rashad studied theater at Howard University before building her career on stage. Her early work included Broadway productions such as The Wiz and Dreamgirls, but television would eventually make her an international icon. Everything changed in 1984 when Rashad was cast as attorney Claire Huxtable on The Cosby Show. Alongside Bill Cosby, she portrayed an accomplished professional, devoted mother and confident wife whose sophistication challenged stereotypes that had long restricted black female characters. At the height of the show's popularity, millions watched each week, and Rashad received 2 Primetime Emmy nominations for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series. Her poised, fashion-expressive eyes and unmistakable screen presence became part of the decade's cultural memory. But Rashad refused to become permanently defined by one television role. She returned repeatedly to the theater, where her dramatic range earned enormous respect. In 2004, her performance as Lena Younger in A Raisin in the Sun made her the first black woman to win the Tony Award for Best Actress in a Play. Nearly 2 decades later, she won another Tony, this time for Skeleton Crew in 2022. Now, in 2026, Rashad is 78 years old, and the contrast between then and now tells a story of longevity rather than decline. The youthful television star of the 1980s has naturally matured, yet her distinctive elegance and commanding presence remain immediately recognizable. More than 4 decades after Claire Huxtable entered American living rooms, Phylicia Rashad remains proof that beauty can evolve, while dignity, talent and presence only deepen with time. Jasmine Guy. Jasmine Guy brought something unforgettable to late 1980s television beauty, mixed with attitude, precision, and razor-sharp comedy. Born in Boston in 1962 and raised in Atlanta, Guy trained as a dancer before moving to New York, where she studied at the Alvin Ailey American Dance Center. That foundation gave her an unusual command of movement and expression, qualities that would later make even the smallest reaction on screen memorable. Her defining opportunity arrived in 1987 with A Different World. As Whitley Gilbert, Guy initially appeared to be the spoiled, privileged Southern belle of Hillman College. But she gradually transformed Whitley into a far richer character, ambitious, vulnerable, romantic, stubborn, and deeply human. Her chemistry with Kadeem Hardison's Dwayne Wayne helped create one of the most remembered black television romances of its era. Guy's talents extended well beyond acting. She was an accomplished dancer and singer, releasing her self-titled album in 1990. She also continued working in theater and later appeared in projects including Harlem, The Vampire Diaries, and numerous stage productions. Her career demonstrated that Whitley Gilbert was never the limit of what she could do. The transformation from the glamorous young actress audiences met in the 1980s to Jasmine Guy in 2026 is striking but entirely natural. At 64, her face carries more than 4 decades of experience, while her distinctive eyes, expressive delivery, and unmistakable elegance remain recognizable. For viewers who grew up watching A Different World, seeing Guy today can feel like opening a treasured photograph and realizing how much time has passed. Yet her enduring appeal was never based solely on youthful beauty. Jasmine Guy became memorable because she had personality, and decades later that spark is still there. Angela Bassett. Angela Bassett seemed destined to play powerful women long before Hollywood fully understood what it had in her. Born in New York City in 1958 and raised in St. Petersburg, Florida, Bassett studied at Yale University, earning a bachelor's degree in African American Studies before completing an MFA at the Yale School of Drama. Her combination of classical training, intelligence, striking features, and extraordinary discipline would eventually make her one of Hollywood's most respected actresses. During the 1980s, Bassett was still building her screen career through television and smaller film appearances. Her major breakthrough came afterward, particularly with her portrayal of Tina Turner in What's Love Got to Do with It in 1993. Bassett transformed herself physically and emotionally for the performance, earning an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress and winning a Golden Globe. What followed was remarkable longevity. She portrayed Betty Shabazz in Malcolm X, Rosa Parks in The Rosa Parks Story, and Queen Ramonda in Marvel's Black Panther films. Her performance in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever brought another Oscar nomination 3 decades after her first. In 2024, Bassett also received an honorary Academy Award recognizing her career. Now approaching her 68th birthday in 2026, Bassett presents one of the most striking then and now stories on this list. Naturally, decades have passed since her earliest appearances, yet she has maintained the athletic, bearing, commanding posture and distinctive features that audiences have long associated with her. Perhaps that is why Angela Bassett challenges conventional ideas about aging in Hollywood. The young actress of the 1980s was beautiful, but age brought something different: authority. Her appearance matured while her career expanded. Nearly 4 decades later, Bassett is no longer simply a promising actress entering Hollywood. She has become the kind of screen legend younger performers once dreamed of becoming. Jackie Harry. Jackie Harry didn't need a dramatic entrance to steal a scene. A glance, a perfectly timed pause, or that unmistakable voice could do the job. Born Jacqueline Yvonne Harry in Winston-Salem, North Carolina in 1956 and raised in New York, she initially worked as a teacher before pursuing acting professionally. After establishing herself on stage, television opened the door that would make her one of the most memorable black comedic actresses of the 1980s. Her breakthrough came with 227, which premiered in 1985. Playing Sandra Clark, the glamorous, flirtatious neighbor of Marla Gibbs' Mary Jenkins. Harry created a character audiences could recognize almost instantly. Sandra's extravagant confidence, stylish wardrobe, and hilarious romantic pursuits made her far more than a supporting character. In 1987, Harry achieved a historic milestone when her work on 227 earned her the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series. She became the first black woman to win that category, securing a permanent place in television history. Unlike performers whose careers disappeared with the decade that made them famous, Harry kept working. Younger viewers discovered her as Lisa Landry on Sister Sister, where she starred alongside Tia and Tamara Mowry throughout the 1990s. Decades of television appearances followed, including a long-running role as Paulina Price on Days of Our Lives. Now 70 in 2026, Jackie Harry looks naturally different from the vivacious Sandra Clark viewers encountered more than 40 years ago. Yet the qualities that made her magnetic have proved remarkably resistant to time: the expressive face, glamorous confidence, comedic rhythm, and unmistakable voice. Her then and now transformation isn't about desperately preserving youth. It demonstrates something more interesting: how personality can outlive an era. The hairstyles changed, fashion evolved, and decades passed, but Jackie remained Jackie. Margaret Avery. Margaret Avery created one of the most unforgettable performances of the 1980s, with a character who was glamorous, wounded, rebellious, and fiercely independent. Born in Mangum, Oklahoma in 1944, Avery originally studied education at San Francisco State University before developing her career as a performer. Stage work and smaller screen roles gradually built her reputation, but one film would permanently change how audiences remembered her. In 1985, Avery appeared as Shug Avery in Steven Spielberg's The Color Purple. Surrounded by an extraordinary ensemble, she made Shug impossible to overlook. The blues singer's confidence concealed emotional scars, and Avery moved between sensuality, vulnerability, and defiance without reducing the character to a stereotype. Her performance earned an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress. Avery never became the conventional Hollywood superstar that such recognition might have predicted, but she continued building a substantial career. Her later credits included White Man's Burden, Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins, and television appearances across several decades. A younger generation discovered her through BET's Being Mary Jane, where she portrayed Helen Patterson, proving that her ability to create emotionally complicated women had not disappeared. The visual difference between Margaret Avery as Shug in 1985 and the actress in 2026 naturally reflects more than 40 years of life. Now 82, Avery has moved from youthful Hollywood beauty into the distinguished appearance of an elder stateswoman of black cinema. But look closely and the connection remains unmistakable. The expressive eyes and composed presence that gave Shug Avery such emotional power are still there. Margaret Avery's story makes then and now particularly meaningful. Aging did not erase the woman audiences discovered in The Color Purple. It added another chapter, and more than 4 decades later, that Oscar-nominated performance remains permanently young on screen. Regina King. Regina King grew up on television before audiences' eyes, beginning a journey that would eventually take her from a teenage sitcom performer to an Academy Award-winning actress and acclaimed director. Born in Los Angeles in 1971, King was only 14 when she landed her first major role as Brenda Jenkins on 227 in 1985. Working alongside Marla Gibbs and Jackie Harry, she brought youthful confidence and authenticity to the series and remained with it until 1990. The 1990s revealed how successfully King could transition from child performer to adult actress. She appeared in John Singleton's Boys and the Hood and Poetic Justice, followed by Friday and Jerry Maguire. Rather than being trapped by her early television identity, she steadily developed a reputation for playing women who felt grounded, intelligent, and emotionally believable. Her greatest recognition arrived decades later. King won multiple Primetime Emmy Awards before delivering an extraordinary performance in Barry Jenkins' If Beale Street Could Talk. In 2019, that role earned her the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. She subsequently moved behind the camera, directing the critically acclaimed One Night in Miami, released in 2020. The contrast between teenage Regina on 227 and the woman audiences know today captures more than 4 decades of growth. In 2026, King is 55, and while her appearance has naturally matured, the expressive features and composed presence visible during her earliest performances remain unmistakable. Her story also carries profound personal depth, but her public legacy should never be reduced to hardship. Regina King has continued moving forward as an artist, actress, and filmmaker. She entered Hollywood as a teenager surrounded by established stars. Decades later, she became one herself, proof that sometimes the most remarkable transformation isn't how someone ages, but how far they travel. Debbie Allen. Debbie Allen was never content with simply being in front of the camera. She wanted to dance, act, choreograph, direct, teach, and eventually create opportunities for generations that came after her. Born in Houston in 1950, Allen studied at Howard University and developed formidable training in theater and dance, despite encountering racial barriers during her early years. Her defining television breakthrough came through fame. After appearing in the 1980 film, Allen became unforgettable as dance instructor Lydia Grant in the television adaptation that began in 1982. Her character's demanding philosophy that fame required hard work and sacrifice perfectly reflected Allen's own discipline. She earned major recognition for both performance and choreography during the series' run. But acting represented only one chapter. Ellen became a prolific television director working across decades on productions ranging from A Different World to Grey's Anatomy. Her achievements as a choreographer were equally extensive, and she eventually became an executive producer on Grey's Anatomy while also appearing as Dr. Catherine Fox. Perhaps her most meaningful legacy exists beyond television. In 2001, she founded the Debbie Allen Dance Academy in Los Angeles, creating professional-level training opportunities for young performers from diverse backgrounds. Looking at Ellen during the 1980s and comparing her with 2026 reveals an extraordinary passage of time. At 76, she naturally looks different from the intensely energetic dancer audiences remember from Fame. Yet her posture, expressive smile, and commanding personality remain immediately recognizable. For Debbie Allen, aging has never meant retreating. The young woman once teaching fictional dancers about the price of fame became a real-life mentor to thousands. More than 40 years later, she hasn't simply remained visible. She has moved from performing within the industry to helping shape who gets to enter it next. Shari Headley. When Shari Headley appeared in Coming to America in 1988, audiences immediately understood why Prince Akeem would cross an ocean searching for someone like Lisa McDowell, born in Queens, New York in 1964. Headley began professionally as a model before transitioning into acting. Her elegance made an immediate impression, but her breakthrough role demonstrated that she offered considerably more than physical beauty. Opposite Eddie Murphy, Headley portrayed Lisa as intelligent, independent, warm, and unwilling to be impressed simply by wealth or status. Rather than becoming a decorative romantic interest, Lisa had her own standards and ambitions. Coming to America became one of the decade's most beloved comedies, permanently linking Headley with a character audiences continued celebrating more than 30 years later. Instead of disappearing after that enormous debut, Headley developed a long television career. She appeared in daytime dramas including All My Children, The Bold and the Beautiful and Guiding Light, while later audiences saw her in Tyler Perry's The Haves and the Have-Nots. Then came a particularly satisfying full-circle moment. In 2021, Headley returned as Lisa, now Queen of Zamunda, in Coming to America. More than 3 decades separated the films, giving audiences a rare opportunity to see the same actress and character mature together. Now, 62 in 2026, Headley naturally looks different from the 24-year-old woman who captivated audiences in 1988. Yet, her graceful features and composed screen presence make the connection between then and now remarkably clear. Hollywood often treats youthful beauty as temporary currency, especially for black actresses. Shari Headley's journey offers a different perspective. She entered the decade as a model, transitioning into acting, and ultimately created a character whose appeal survived generations. Lisa McDowell became a queen, and Headley matured alongside her with remarkable grace. Pam Grier. Pam Grier had already changed Hollywood before the 1980s even began. Born in Winston-Salem, North Carolina in 1949, she became a groundbreaking action star during the 1970s through films such as Coffee and Foxy Brown. At a time when black women were rarely positioned as powerful cinematic leads, Grier portrayed characters who fought back, controlled their own stories, and refused to wait for anyone to rescue them. As the blaxploitation era faded, Hollywood offered her fewer starring vehicles, but Grier continued working throughout the 1980s in film and television. Behind the scenes, however, she encountered a frightening challenge far greater than any fictional enemy. In 1988, Grier was diagnosed with stage 4 cervical cancer, not breast cancer, as the original transcript incorrectly states. She has said doctors initially gave her approximately 18 months to live. After treatment, she survived, turning what could have been the end of her story into another chapter. Then in 1997, Quentin Tarantino placed her back at the center of a major film with Jackie Brown. At 48, Greer delivered a controlled, mature performance far removed from simply recreating Foxy Brown. The role earned her a Golden Globe nomination and introduced her to audiences who had not experienced her earlier work. Now 77, in 2026, Greer offers one of this list's most meaningful then and now transformations. Her appearance has naturally changed across 5 decades, but the confident gaze and unmistakable presence remain. More importantly, her survival gives those changes greater meaning. Greer was once told she might have little time left, yet she lived decades beyond that prognosis. The young action icon became an elder stateswoman of cinema. Her beauty matured, her performances deepened, and the woman Hollywood once struggled to categorize ultimately outlasted the limitations placed around her. Tisha Campbell. Tisha Campbell entered the entertainment industry so young that audiences have been able to watch nearly her entire evolution on screen. Born in Oklahoma City in 1968 and raised in Newark, New Jersey, Campbell began performing during childhood. Her combination of singing, dancing, comedy, and acting eventually carried her into professional theater and television before Hollywood came calling. Her first major movie appearance arrived with Little Shop of Horrors in 1986, placing her firmly within the 1980s generation represented in this story. But her biggest breakthroughs came shortly afterward. In House Party in 1990, Campbell demonstrated both comedic energy and musical ability, while Martin, beginning in 1992, transformed her into a television icon as Gina Waters. Gina was stylish and funny, but also capable of challenging Martin Lawrence's larger-than-life character. Campbell's chemistry with Lawrence became central to one of the defining black sitcoms of the 1990s. She later found another long-running success opposite Damon Wayans on My Wife and Kids. Her journey wasn't without difficult periods. Campbell has spoken publicly about personal and professional struggles, but she continued rebuilding and working rather than allowing any single chapter to define her career. She has remained active across television, film, music, and comedy. In 2026, Campbell is 57, creating a remarkable visual contrast with the teenage performer seen in Little Shop of Horrors 40 years earlier. Her style has evolved and her features have naturally matured, yet the animated expressions and energetic personality remain instantly familiar. That continuity is what makes her then and now story compelling. Tisha Campbell wasn't frozen inside one beloved sitcom. Audiences watched her grow from a teenage performer into a veteran entertainer, and after 4 decades, she is still adding new chapters to the story. Alfre Woodard. Alfre Woodard has never needed spectacle to command attention. Born in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in 1952, she studied drama at Boston University before establishing herself on stage and eventually moving into film and television. Her beauty was distinctive, but what separated Woodard from many contemporaries was an extraordinary ability to communicate complicated emotions through the smallest gesture, a glance, a pause, or a subtle change in her voice. Her major cinematic breakthrough came with Cross Creek in 1983. Playing Geechee Woodard delivered a relatively brief but memorable performance that earned her an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress. It was an early indication that Hollywood had discovered an actress capable of making supporting characters feel completely alive. The decades that followed demonstrated remarkable range. Woodard appeared in Passion Fish Crooklyn, Primal Fear Love, and Basketball, and 12 Years a Slave, while television brought acclaimed performances in productions including Saint Elsewhere, Miss Evers' Boys, and Desperate Housewives. Across her career, she has accumulated 4 Primetime Emmy Awards from numerous nominations. What makes her then and now transformation particularly compelling is continuity. In 2026, Woodard is 73. More than 4 decades separate her from the young actress audiences encountered during the 1980s. Her hair, features, and style have naturally matured, but the intense eyes and understated authority remain instantly recognizable. Unlike an industry obsessed with preserving youth, Woodard allowed maturity to expand the kinds of women she could portray. Age became another instrument in her performances rather than something to disguise. The beautiful young actress from Cross Creek grew into something Hollywood needs even more: an elder artist capable of giving complicated black women dignity, intelligence, vulnerability, and power. Alfre Woodard didn't simply survive decades in Hollywood, she made those decades count. Lisa Bonet. Lisa Bonet arrived on American television with a look and personality that felt completely different from the polished conventions of the period. Born in San Francisco in 1967, Bonet was only 16 when she won the role that would make her famous. In 1984, The Cosby Show introduced audiences to Denise Huxtable, and almost immediately, Bonet became one of the most recognizable young black actresses of the decade. Denise was stylish, independent, unpredictable, and effortlessly cool. Bonet's distinctive fashion choices and bohemian sensibility helped turn both actress and character into cultural icons. When A Different World premiered in 1987, Denise became its original central character, bringing Bonet's influence into another landmark black television series. That same year, she made a deliberately more adult career choice with Angel Heart, appearing opposite Mickey Rourke. The controversial role demonstrated her determination not to remain trapped inside the wholesome image audiences associated with Denise. Bonet later became far more selective about acting. She appeared in projects such as Enemy of the State, High Fidelity, and Ray Donovan, but never pursued constant Hollywood visibility. That distance from celebrity eventually became part of her mystique. Now, 58, in 2026, Bonet offers one of the most fascinating comparisons between then and now. The teenage star of 1984 has naturally matured, yet her distinctive features, unconventional style, and understated presence remain recognizable decades later. For audiences who remember Denise Huxtable walking into a room in an oversized jacket and turning it into a fashion statement, the passage of more than 40 years can feel almost unbelievable. Lisa Bonet's beauty was never based on looking conventional. Youth made her striking, maturity has made her distinctive. She entered television refusing to look like everyone else, and decades later, she still doesn't. Cheryl Lee Ralph. Before younger generations knew Cheryl Lee Ralph as Barbara Howard, on Abbott Elementary, she had already spent more than 4 decades proving that talent could survive every shift in Hollywood. Born in Waterbury, Connecticut in 1956 and raised partly in Jamaica, Ralph graduated from Rutgers University at just 19 before beginning a career that would span Broadway, television, film, and music. Her defining early breakthrough came on Broadway rather than television. In 1981, Ralph originated the role of Dina Jones in Dreamgirls. Her sophisticated performance earned her a Tony Award nomination for Best Actress in a Musical and established her as one of the exciting young black performers of the decade. Throughout the 1980s, Ralph expanded into screen work, including The Mighty Quinn with Denzel Washington in 1989. Greater television visibility followed in later years, particularly as Dee Mitchell on Moesha, where she became a familiar presence to a new generation. But perhaps the most extraordinary chapter arrived after many actresses would have been unfairly considered past Hollywood's preferred age. In 2021, Ralph began playing veteran teacher Barbara Howard on Abbott Elementary. In 2022, at 65, she won the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series, decades after her breakthrough in Dreamgirls. Now 69, in 2026, Ralph presents an extraordinary then and now comparison. The young Broadway star of the early 1980s has become a silver-haired television veteran, yet the confident smile-polished style and commanding voice remain unmistakable. Her journey challenges one of entertainment's oldest assumptions that women's opportunities inevitably diminish with age. For Cheryl Lee Ralph, maturity produced one of her greatest professional triumphs. More than 40 years after Dreamgirls, she isn't merely being remembered for what she once was. She's still creating career-defining moments and showing audiences that beauty and success don't have expiration dates. Rae Dawn Chong. Rae Dawn Chong stood out immediately in 1980s Hollywood. Born in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada in 1961, Chong is the daughter of actor and comedian Tommy Chong and Maxine Sneed. Her multiracial background and distinctive appearance made her difficult for Hollywood to categorize, but her talent ensured she could not simply be dismissed as another attractive young actress. Her breakthrough arrived with the prehistoric adventure Quest for Fire in 1981. Playing Ika Chong delivered a physically demanding performance with minimal conventional dialogue and won the Genie Award for Best Actress. It was an unusual beginning for someone who would soon become a recognizable presence throughout the decade. In 1985 alone, Chong appeared in 2 dramatically different major films. She portrayed Squeak in Steven Spielberg's The Color Purple and starred opposite Arnold Schwarzenegger in the action blockbuster Commando. Those projects demonstrated her ability to move between serious ensemble drama and mainstream entertainment without losing her individuality. Additional films followed, including Soul Man in 1986, while Chong continued working through subsequent decades in film and television. Although she never followed the conventional path toward A-list superstardom, she accumulated a long career characterized by unusual choices and an independent personality. In 2026, Chong is 65. Comparing her appearance today with the young woman from Quest for Fire or Commando reveals more than 4 decades of natural change. Yet her strong facial structure and distinctive presence remain recognizable. Rae Dawn Chong represents a particular kind of 1980s beauty, one that didn't fit neatly into Hollywood's existing categories. Time changed the young actress audiences first encountered, but it didn't erase what made her stand out. More than 40 years later, those early performances remain snapshots of a woman who entered Hollywood looking unlike almost anyone around her. Lynn Whitfield. Lynn Whitfield has always carried herself with the kind of elegance that makes even silence feel dramatic. Born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana in 1953, Whitfield studied at Howard University before developing her acting career on stage and eventually moving into television and film. During the 1980s, she began establishing the poised, sophisticated screen presence that would later make her one of Hollywood's most recognizable black dramatic actresses. One of Whitfield's important early television roles came on Hill Street Blues, where she appeared as Jill Thomas during the decade. Film opportunities followed, including The Slugger's Wife in 1985 and Jaws: The Revenge in 1987. These performances introduced audiences to an actress whose refined appearance could conceal tremendous emotional intensity. Her career reached another level in 1991 when she portrayed legendary entertainer Josephine Baker in HBO's The Josephine Baker Story. Whitfield carried the ambitious production through different periods of Baker's life, combining glamour with vulnerability. The performance earned her the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a miniseries or special. Rather than fading after that triumph, Whitfield became increasingly familiar to movie audiences. She appeared in A Thin Line Between Love and Hate, Eve's Bayou Stepmom, and numerous television productions. Later Owens Greenleaf gave her another memorable character as the formidable Lady May Greenleaf. Now 73, in 2026, Whitfield naturally looks different from the young actress building her reputation during the 1980s. Yet her carefully composed presence, expressive eyes, and unmistakable sophistication have traveled remarkably well across the decades. For Whitfield, aging didn't remove the glamour, it changed its meaning. Youthful beauty gradually became authority. The actress, who once entered Hollywood as a promising newcomer, eventually became the woman capable of commanding entire scenes without raising her voice. Lynn Whitfield's Then and Now story shows that elegance doesn't have to fight time. Sometimes it simply grows deeper with it. From the unforgettable elegance of Felicia Rashad and Debbie Allen to the timeless presence of Angela Bassett, Pam Grier, and Cheryl Lee Ralph. These remarkable women prove that beauty was never just about youth. Decades have passed since the 1980s, yet their talent, confidence, and influence continue to inspire new generations. Some have transformed dramatically, while others look astonishingly familiar, but every face carries a story Hollywood could never erase. So which actress do you think has aged the most gracefully and who surprised you the most in 2026? Share your choice in the comments and tell us which Black actress deserves a place on this list. If you enjoyed this journey, like the video, subscribe to Golden Black Legends, and join us as we celebrate more unforgettable icons.